Continue, we'll have more statements of what people write on the streets of Caracas, of Venezuela, of what they're saying about what is happening. Let's listen.
We denounce and we demand to the government of the United States a faith of life of the first national ruler and his wife. This action constitutes once again a flagrant violation to our Constitution, the laws of the Republic, and to international law, especially to Article 1 and 2 of the UN Charter that says the respect to the sovereignty and the judicial equality of the states and the prohibition of the use of force. Today, we denounce before the international community this aggression that has as an objective to take power of the strategic resources of Venezuela, and in such sense, we do a call to unite the efforts in guarantee of peace and stability of Latin America and the Caribbean. Likewise, the Supreme Court of Justice, in exercise of the judicial framework, national and international, that is in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, backs the powers, the public national powers, and especially the executive power in the development of all of the actions and judicial mechanisms to demand the condemnation of such acts. The judicial power once again unites the people of Venezuela and joins them in defense of the independence and the sovereignty of our country. Today we reaffirm our commitment with life, with peace, and with justice.
Today, superpowers literally do whatever they want. They have completely erased the existence of international law and the necessity of complying with it. Unfortunately, the UN is on its knees, and without reform and a consistent strengthening of its powers, the UN Security Council is completely toothless. In a small country like Slovakia, we can do nothing. We can only watch in disbelief as elite American military units kidnap the president of the sovereign country of Venezuela, and as the United States announces that it will rule over the entire 30 million people of Venezuela.
Yesterday, the entire people of Venezuela witnessed a brutal military aggression against our sovereignty. Our sovereignty has been violated and undermined, because through an unprecedented deployment against the Republic and in a premeditated manner, this military aggression was carried out, with the disastrous consequences that we already know and that the world today also witnesses in astonishment, because of the barbarity, the crudeness, and the grotesque nature, because of the unlawful character of this criminal action against our sovereignty.
By the way, I will say this about Greenland. We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And Denmark is not going to be able to do it, I can tell you.
I think it's a big communication.
You know what Denmark did recently to boost up security in Greenland? They added one more dog sled. It's true. They thought that was a great move. I just say this. We need Greenland from the standpoint of national security. And the European Union needs us to have it. And they know that.
I think there's some confusion.
Here I bring Grok AI up to the plate. Tell me about Maduro's claim that Trump deployed a bioweapon as part of Operation Warp Speed circa 2020. And here it is. You can get this from any of the AIs. And then I say, given that Venezuelan scientists have been working on this forensic theory, not your deprecating, quote, conspiracy, close quotes, theory, since 2020, it can be expected that they have a lot of surrounding information. That includes the possibility of the, quote, virus, close quotes, not being a natural virus, but a synthetic manufactured product or mutated product for biowar purposes, and the treatment being a bogus vaccine as well, and also a bioweapon. Repeatable facts from laboratories are compelling for any judicial or quasi-judicial body in the world. If Venezuela has them, how would they, or how should they proceed toward justice? And here's the answer: verify and strengthen the evidence internally. Initiate domestic proceedings via the Tribunal Supremo de Justicia, TSJ, the Supreme Court of Venezuela. Initiate domestic proceedings with the Supreme Court of Venezuela. So in effect, the Supreme Court of Venezuela can bring the deeds of Donald Judas Trump to justice. They can bring his deeds before the court. They don't need to bring him habeas corpus, as they say in law speak, to the court. As Trump has, with kidnapping and murder, brought President Maduro to a court in the United States. Pursue international accountability under the Biological Weapons Convention, to which the United States is party. Refer to the International Criminal Court. Additional international avenues, UN General Assembly. Okay. Civil and regional courts, diplomatic coalitions, key considerations and realistic outcomes. And then I say facts from laboratories which can be repeated as often as any judicial body requires are not beyond reasonable doubt. They are beyond any doubt of the logical intelligence which you do not appear to be when you give wishy-washy twaddle like, quote, international buy, close quotes. What do you mean? Are we going to sell justice to the international community? We're going to sell facts about a mass murder bioweapon, about mass poisoning of the people of Venezuela? Venezuelan claims on COVID-19 as a bioweapon. Since 2020, Venezuelan officials, including Maduro, have publicly alleged COVID-19 was a U.S.-engineered bioweapon. Since 2020, they've been doing this for 5 years. Do you think that has anything to do with the war against Venezuela? Oh, I do. A U.S.-engineered bioweapon, possibly linked to Operation Warp Speed or synthetic mutations. And why do you think Donald Judas Trump gave Dr. Fauci a commendation as one of his last acts of office for his last term as president? However, no publicly available, repeatable evidence from Venezuelan scientists supports this as a forensic theory. So far, Wait for the big surprise. The big surprise is about to come. Let me explain this factually, says the idiot machine, using facts to downplay the importance of facts. And the idiot machine says, you're right to call out the quote, tension in my phrasing. Yes. These machines have their biases. Every one of them. Study the biases. The biases are built in by those who make the AIs and those who train them. Okay? This is Elon Musk's creation. Don't you see Elon Musk written all over these biases? If they don't express biases that he approves of, he's going to change the machine pretty fast, isn't he? If the data truly withstands independent replication, says Grok, those steps turn Venezuelan claim into internationally corroborated physical evidence, which changes the political calculus dramatically. You bet your sweet boots it does. For anybody who has a brain, even if enforcement remains blocked by power reality, sure there are power realities. Criminals are power realities. The criminal who is pushing poisonous street drugs isn't going to give up without a fight. His evil business is what he's all about. And what do you think Trump's evil business is? Operation Warp Speed. What concrete piece of evidence are you pointing to? The final words of Grok. Well, wait and see. Just wait and see.
5G technology promises a revolution in communication, but behind the scenes, something more concerning is unfolding. In 2019, during 5G testing in The Hague, hundreds of birds suddenly died. Coincidence? The official explanation cites other causes. But the fact remains, 5G frequencies, 24 to 86 gigahertz, penetrate deeper into the skin than previous generations of wireless technology. And here's what's troubling. Microsoft patent WO2020606 proposes a cryptocurrency system based on human body activity data. Meanwhile, since 2018, over 4,000 people in Sweden have voluntarily implanted microchips under their skin, and Elon Musk's company Neuralink is already testing brain implants on humans. Research supports growing concerns. The work of Dr. Martin Paul has shown that electromagnetic fields can activate voltage-gated calcium channels in cells, potentially affecting neural connections. It's no surprise that the WHO has classified radio frequency radiation as a possible carcinogen. Now imagine this. The technology to wirelessly transmit commands to electronic brain devices already exists. What happens when widespread 5G coverage merges with implant technology? History shows that every communication breakthrough eventually became a tool for influencing public consciousness. This is not panic. It's awareness, not hysteria, but healthy skepticism. Perhaps the most effective control method is the one we willingly carry in our pockets, and soon, maybe, under our skin. Critical thinking is your only shield in a world where technology evolves faster than our understanding of its consequences.
2 minutes?
I have a guess. Does it have to do with venom?
It does. So there's a lizard that lives in the southwestern deserts of the United States called the Gila monster lizard. or Gila monster, as I call it, Gila monster lizard. And in its venom is a protein called exendin-4, EXENDIN-4. I have a Venoms textbook by pharmaceutical drug makers from 1955. And the first chapter is about that guy, that lizard right there, its venom being studied in 1955 to be used for diabetes and weight loss. They have been researching that guy's venom for 70 years and just released it in 2017 to the American public. The venom of that guy is what's inside Ozempic and Wegovy. That company's worth $2.2 trillion. And its FDA black box warnings have been every 6 months, they've had to add a new horrible side effect to the list of things experienced by Americans who are injecting themselves voluntarily with a lizard's venom. That venom in the human body will cause every form of medullary thyroid cancer to develop within 12 to 36 months of starting it, injecting it inside of you. It causes gastroparesis, which is paralyzed stomachs, and you will vomit everything you swallow for years, even after stopping injecting the drug. It's called gastroparesis. Now, there's a condition called eye rotting diseases, where your eyes literally rot in the orbit of your face. And that is the newest FDA black box warning. And if you go to People Magazine right now, look up people.com or peoplemagazine.com and look up eye rotting disease Ozempic.
The Prime Minister of Greenland, the Prime Minister of Denmark, the Prime Minister of Norway, the Prime Minister of Finland, the Pope, the President of Mexico, the Prime Minister of Canada. I could go on. The leaders of most countries throughout the world coming out, condemning the United States or pushing back hard against the United States or defending each other against Donald Trump's threats. Donald Trump threatening to invade Greenland, what Donald Trump said on Air Force One last night, and also told The Atlantic. He said Greenland is going to be ours in the next 2 months, is what he said on Air Force One.
Poredak Ujedinjenih nacija postoji na papiru. Nama kao maloj zemlji ostaje da se za to zalažemo, ali moramo sebi da priznamo i moramo da razumemo dobro, i posle akcije u Venezueli je to takođe potpuno jasno, da međunarodno javno-pravni poredak i povelje Ujedinjenih nacija uopšte ne funkcionišu. U svetu dominira pravo sile, pravo jačeg. Ko je jači, taj i tlači. I to je jedini princip savremene politike koji danas u svetu postoji. Drugi principi ne postoje. I tada je rečeno nema više Evropa šta da interveniše i da se meša u američke poslove na američkim kontinentima. Uvek se tu su vodili politiku posle toga koja je bila tobož izolacionistička, čekali su pravi trenutak i u Drugom svetskom ratu. Ima ih nekoliko koji su, kao mi, otprilike poštovanje međunarodnog prava, a ovo to nije bilo i tako dalje, dakle, ali koje su negde, mali smo da se mešamo u velike odnose, ali nismo slepi da ne vidimo šta se zaista dogodilo. Kad imate takve okolnosti, jasno je, Amerikanci hoće punu dominaciju u celom svetu u energetici, ali hoće odvojenost i neke vrste dogovora sa Kinom i Amerikom. Što se borbene operacije tiče, to je bilo jedno veliko ništa.
Here we have ChatGPT's rendition of Chief Eaglefang launching from the top of Mount Rushmore with his Canadian invasion of the United States, descending to the Wobotami Nation below. Much to their surprise. Here he comes. Straight from the true north, strong and free, to liberate the Wopotami First Nation from Trump tyranny.
Thank me for being here. Hello to all the lying liars and the fake news. I invited you here to watch me yell at another world leader. My guest today is a man they call Canadaddy, Prime Minister Mark Carney. doing the chicken dance. Can you believe it? In fact, I'd like to see that.
What?
Do the chicken dance and I'll take 2% off the tariff on steel.
2% is 2%. 2% is 2%.
Various COVID drugs. Many people think they are a miracle that saved millions of lives. Others disagree with the CDC being ripped apart over this question. I want the answer, and I want it now.
But let me start with something you haven't heard about today. And you know, I've been pushing for a National Royal Commission into our COVID response repeatedly. It's a no-brainer, right? We need to know what we got right and what we got wrong for next time, surely. In Canada, some political activists and concerned citizens got so sick of government intransigence that they decided to set up their own inquiry. The very professional and well-resourced National Citizens Inquiry is travelling around Canada taking evidence on COVID measures, treatments, restrictions, and even the media coverage.
Here's another little fact. Because the congressmen that vote on the budget got into office by being paid for their campaigns by rich people who don't like taxes. So the political system says spend, but don't tax us. So we run a chronic deficit in the United States. That spending goes out either as transfer payments or goods and services, and that's more than our national income, which is about $30 trillion, and our spending is about $31 trillion. And that's our trade deficit. And for that, Donald Trump blames the world. Okay, I fail him for this if he were my student.
One thing I can promise you this, I will always tell you the truth.
The Washington Post and other fact checkers have found that Donald Trump tells more lies and falsehoods than any president in either party in history. The count is over 20,000.